If you've played Roblox in the past decade, you've probably heard the name Swordburst at one point or another. Since the original creation of the first game, Sword Art Online Burst, later renamed Swordburst Online, the game has gone through 3 iterations before we reach the low point we're at today. But before I get into the modern state of the game, let's take a trip back to 2014. As stated previously, the first iteration of the Swordburst franchise was entitled Sword Art Online Burst. Just 1 year before its creation, the hit anime series Sword Art Online took the world by storm, creating a whole new player base for RPG games on Roblox. Rukirio, who has since changed his name to Abstract Alex, the name we'll be referring to him as in this video, noticed how influential the series was and wanting to play the game from the anime, decided to create an alpha project based on it on October 5th, 2014. Just 1 month after the alpha project began, the game was released to the public. After the release, the game immediately gained traction. Thousands of people joined the game, and it was featured on the Roblox homepage for years to come. Gameplay videos on the game only helped it to garner a larger player base, not to mention the Bloxy nomination it received and the video reviewing it posted by the official Roblox YouTube channel. On September 14, 2014, the game name was officially changed to Swordburst Online for obvious copyright reasons. The game, although small, was incredibly ambitious, and seeing the success it had, Abstract Alex knew he could create something even better. On November 13, 2016, Alex would make a Twitter post announcing a new project in the works. Just over a week later, he would also announce the halt of Swordburst Online's development in its entirety. Backtracking a little, a lesser-known project in between the end of Alex's first project and this new project is the game Shard Online. This game was released on September 30th, 2016, costing 50 Robux. This was the first game of Alex's to have a trading system in it, a feature that would later become very popular in his next project. As a culmination of all of his past efforts, Swordburst 2 was Alex's magnum opus. This game's official early access opened on February 18, 2017 with a level cap of 12 and only 2 floors released at the price of 125 Robux. The early access ended in November 2017, and all of the early access players were rewarded with an exclusive aura chest. When the game was officially released, it spread like wildfire due to the migration of Swordburst Online players, and all the hype surrounding it from beta testers and YouTubers such as Twisted Pandora, Ivy Main, and many others. At this point, it's worth mentioning Alex wasn't alone in his endeavors. The project was assisted mainly by the scripter BlockyMax, O, the animator, and Slevin, the modeler. The game maintained a concurrent player count in the thousands for years, but was always at its highest during events or freshly after updates. For most of its lifespan, the game was updated frequently with high-quality updates that packed loads of content. Until this point, the Swordburst games had been near the pinnacle of Roblox, but of course this couldn't last forever. As Floor 9 was released on April 22, 2018, the hype for the newest floor of the game was just as high as it had ever been. However, this update would prove to be the turning point in Swordburst's history and would go down as a massive failure for the game. This update introduced Floor 9, named Varrock, a volcanic island featuring rocky terrain, red mist, and monstrous creatures. The main downfall of this update wasn't truly the floor at all, but the devs' new vote cake system. The system was aimed at reducing exploiters in the game, but the system didn't work at first, causing Floor 9 and the rest of the game to be overrun by hackers. Of course, this wasn't the only problem, as the floor itself did have some glaring issues, such as the terrible scaling of monsters' damage and life points, alongside many bugs players experienced. At this point, many players started to have their doubts about the future of the game, and some even quit. With Floor 10 on the horizon, presumed to be the last floor, many players expected it to be Swordburst's redemption and saving grace, but they couldn't be more wrong. After spending half a decade working on the game, the developers were tired and put out the laziest, buggiest, and worst floor yet. Most of the floors were recycled from things on older floors and showed just how far the dev team had fallen. To add on to this mess of a floor, there was a short time period that players experienced a bug that would reset them to level 1 upon entering the floor. After this mess of a floor, most of the dev team quit and the game was seemingly abandoned. More than a year after the release of Floor 10, Slevin was surprisingly still working on the game and leaked images of Floor 11 to the players. This leak caused many players to return to the game on YouTube, such as notable content creators Toxic Lo-Fi, Aphasonic, BGM Master, and Halo Pacific, just to name a few. When the update released, it was actually pretty good. Although it was just made by Slevin and Max, they had done an amazing job despite having to reuse old models of monsters due to Kevin leaving the team. Many players began to harass the team over this, ultimately resulting in Slevin's departure from the team, leaving just Max left. Swordburst 3 is the last and most recent Swordburst game. This game took bits of everything before it and put it together into an interesting package. Truly, the game just doesn't live up to Swordburst 2. It feels more arcadey in nature than its predecessor, and feels fun while you're playing it, but doesn't really make you want to come back to it for too long. The game suffers from repetitiveness, a linear path, forced progression, and many other things. And unfortunately, that's what created its untimely failure. Swordburst 2 in the present is an interesting thing. After the kind of failure of Swordburst 3, most of the remaining player base from it went back to Swordburst 2, and the game is doing alright. At this point the game isn't dead, but it's not very alive either. Struggling to maintain over 1,000 concurrent players and a small YouTube scene, the game is sort of stuck in limbo as updates slowly roll out. At the end of the day, this game was truly a lot of people's childhoods, including myself, and I sincerely hope that the game will gain back the level of success it once had. If you guys made it this far, please consider giving the video a like and maybe even subscribe to the channel. This video took me a long time to make and I would appreciate any and all support. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.